That's right, it's the Twitter storm. These questions came in via Twitter. Here's Kim Horcher, the host of Nerd Alert, to read your questions. Hello, Kim.
Hi, Ben. How are you? This is from, this is Ask Ben Mank, actually, so it rhymes and it's adorable. From Joseph Flett, he says, what is the one thing you and Cenk, philosophically and politically, etc., disagree about?
Well, when Cenk and I met in 1999 in Miami, what was shocking was how little that we disagreed about anything, even though at the time he was a Republican still considering voting for George W. Bush. And in fact, I think a consideration that took him well into October of 2000 before he made the decision to vote for Gore, when he just realized Bush wasn't smart enough to be president. But philosophically, we disagree on the, we disagreed on the death penalty then. Cenk has come around on that. But we disagree a little bit about the media's role and sort of how corrupt the media is and how corrupt Washington is. Only in this room am I the guy who seems to be speaking up for the establishment. Among everybody else I interact with in life, I'm the hard-charging progressive. But in here, I think Cenk tends to oversimplify. It tends to ignore some rather basic human characteristics which motivate people in the mainstream media and also motivate politicians. And I'm not quite as cynical as he is about the sort of corruptibility of both of those institutions, but we're not that far off. Good enough?
Yeah. Richard Jackson asks, do you get recognized more in public as the TCM guy or the TYT guy?
I get recognized much more often as the TCM guy, but I get recognized often as the TYT guy, and I suppose if I was still on every day, that it might be closer. What's always fun and what happens frequently is the crossover. When I'm at the Telluride Film Festival every single year, 2 or 3 people, maybe more, will say, hey Ben, great to see you, and I presume they're with, they're big TCM fans because it's a film festival, and they inevitably go, tell Cenk to keep giving him hell. And in fact, at the Telluride Film Festival in September of last year, September of 2013, I was at a filmmaker's party at a very fancy place, a fancy home in Telluride. And I'm in a room and I realized that who appears to be, and I was looking around the house because it was so nice, and who's walking up to me in the room, it appears I'm talking to a publicist that I know a little, and who's walking toward me is Chiwetel Ejiofor. And I think he's coming to talk to the publicist, even though I know the movies she's doing, and she's not doing 12 Years a Slave. I saw 12 Years a Slave at Telluride. And then he stops while we're talking and waits for us to finish very politely. But he's Chiwetel Ejiofor, and so we stopped talking because we want to. Both of us would rather talk to him than the person we're talking to. And then he says, "Excuse me," and turns to me, right? And he says, "I just want to tell you what a big fan I am." And I'm like, "Well, this is fucked up, right? This is not how this is supposed to go down." And I think, whatever, as often happens, that I'm incredibly grateful for the people who watch TCM, and then because they love these movies, and I get that I play a role in bringing them these movies, but they really love the movies, and they love TCM, and I'm so delighted to be a part of that. But that's not what he meant. He goes, "I just want a big fan of you are, and everything you guys do at the Young Turks. I've been watching for 5 years now. I still laugh my ass off every time Cenk holds up the USA Today and screams and screams and screams and loses his shit." And he knew everything. He'd been watching since like 2007 or 2008, which is right around the time I left and stopped doing the show every day. I left in 2007. So that was awesome. And today, Chiwetel Ejiofor nominated for a Best Actor Oscar for his role in 12 Years a Slave. And I've been looking at the offshore gambling accounts, and right now he is the favorite with Matthew McConaughey close behind. So he would be the first Best Actor winner who we know for sure is a serious TYT fan. So, but that said, I slightly recognize more for TCM.
Yes. You have a quick quiz from Mark Bingham. At a party, you find Dr. Keith Ablow's lost keys. Do you A, wipe your genitals on them, B, flush them, or C, both?
Okay, I'm not wiping my genitals on keys. I don't think anybody is, to be honest. I think if I found Keith Ablow's keys and I knew he was looking for his keys at the party, I think I'd hide him. I think I'd have to hide him. He's a bad guy. He's a bad man. He's bad for America. He's mean to people who need help. So I'd hide his keys.
STL Native 98 asks, how did you meet Cenk?
Cenk and I were set up on a blind date in 1999. We were both lonely in Miami. Cenk, I was hosting a show called The Times in Miami for Whammy, WAMI, Whammy TV, which is Barry Diller's kind of inventive new station in Miami. I was the host of the show, and we'd gone through a lot of writers. It was really hard to write in our style, which was sort of funny and self-deprecating, but I needed help writing the show. I needed a writer. There was just too much to do. And so first we brought Cenk in to do, he was in sales, as I'm sure he's mentioned a lot of times, sales, which was upstairs. That's why I did that. So he was in sales, and he came down to do a couple entertainment segments where he would sort of do our kind of take, which was also jived with Cenk's kind of take about how entertainment should be done, and was sort of disdainful of promotion and how silly some actors are and how silly some shows are and why people like them. And Cenk, as soon as the camera started rolling, and the lights came up, Cenk was just horrible. And it was just some of the most awkward television you'd ever see in your life. But what he said was kind of funny. And so we offered him a job, Maddie Lesham, who was running it, and MJ Witt, and they needed my approval. They were like, what do you want to do with this guy? And I said, well, let's let him a chance to write. And they were like, are you sure? He was horrible. He was on for 2 days. The second day, I must admit, was actually worse than the first. But we hired him as a writer, and from really the next, for the next year and a half, or this year that the show was on, Cenk and I wrote that show together. And it was great. And we became friends like immediately. Everything shared. The way not just that we loved gambling, the way we gambled, what we thought about gambling, not just that we loved women, but the way we loved women and how the way we loved women. No, but I mean, we liked the same kind of messed up girls, and we liked talking about women the same way, which was like actually kind of respectful while still being guys. And we had the same crazy, dumb, stupid stories, and politically, even though he was a Republican, we believed the same things. It was great at that age to find a friend like that and to get so close to somebody that quickly. So we were very fortunate, and then we made an attempt to work together. And Cenk came out here after I'd been out here in 2002, started the Young Turks. He did one show on his own, and then we had a dinner where I clearly wanted him to ask me to join him, and he wanted me to offer to join him. So we like awkwardly danced, and then we're like, "Hey, I could do it." He's like, "Yeah." So it was good, and then we did the show.
That's how the magic was started.
Yeah.
Flint's Doubting Tom asks, "Is it sacrilegious to say that Jack played a better Joker, even though they were both awesome?"
No, it is not sacrilegious to say that Jack Nicholson played a better Joker than Heath Ledger. It's just that you seem, because Heath Ledger died, he played a great Joker. It's a great sign of what the two different actors can do with the same character. But of course, the scripts were very different, but they were great. I mean, those are two legendarily great actors. And it would have been, of course, so great. Not just that he would have kept living and had a full life, but it would have been great to see what Heath Ledger could have done with so many different roles. He made very few movies. But Nicholson was great, and no, it's not sacrilegious to say it at all.
TYT Basement asks, does it make you uncomfortable discussing entitlement on the show, given your family history and background?
No, and I didn't live an entitled life. I mean, I don't say that with an ounce of defensiveness. I have a fairly famous last name in Washington political circles and in Hollywood, but my grandfather wrote Citizen Kane in 1941. You think that carries any weight 73 years later? And then my Uncle Joe won back-to-back Oscars in 1949 and 1950. And my dad was a big deal political operative. That get you nothing in DC. I mean, I didn't have a hard scrabble Joe Biden, I didn't split rocks in Scranton, Pennsylvania. But my dad worked he never made any money as a political consultant, ever. Then he went to work for National Public Radio in 1977, and his salary was capped at the salary of what members of the cabinet made then, which was, I think, $72,500. And we'd bought a house that was too expensive. We had a huge mortgage. My parents were always worried about money. you know, I mean, again, it was nice living to make $72,000 in 1979, but you weren't living an entitled life by any stretch of the imagination. So, no, I am not uncomfortable with it even a tiny bit. Nor would I be uncomfortable if I had led an entitled life, because people who have a lot of money get to talk about things that are important to them all the time and and a sense of economic justice doesn't come from being poor. A sense of economic justice comes from, first, a sense of justice.
Paul Allen K asks, who'd you rather be for a day? DiCaprio at a supermodel party or Springsteen when he's playing Wembley Stadium?
I mean, ask a harder question. I mean, right? I mean, Jesus, it's too easy.
It's Springsteen, right?
You're Springsteen. It's like not even nothing. First of all, you don't think you play your Springsteen, you play Wembley Stadium. If you'd like to go out with a supermodel afterwards, you can probably make that happen. And as supermodels were never for me. They were, and I was never for them. So it worked out nicely. But you know, I'd be too nervous to talk to those girls anyway. And no, nothing beats if I could be a major, a big rock star or a big movie star. I would definitely be a big rock star, because you can kind of go the other way. If you're a big rock star, you want to try acting, somebody might let you do it. If you're a big movie star, you can't just try to be a musician. Like, if you can't do it, you can't do it. I can't do it. I'd be a big rock star before anything. The idea, I bought Springsteen's new album 2 days ago. I haven't even quite heard the whole album because I can't get past the 2 incredible songs that I already love on it. And he was so great on Fallon. But the idea of walking out in front of, whether it's an arena and 20,000 people or a big stadium and 50, 80,000 people, I mean, you can't beat that. It's too good. It's too good. Nothing better.
Christy Praise asks, have you ever considered using your indie media influence to offer secure comm services to independent journalists?
You know, I read this and I don't understand it.
Am I missing? Either.
Yeah, like, have you ever considered using your indie media influence to offer secure comm services to independent journalists? First of all, I don't think I have any indie media I certainly don't have any influence. And I guess that means, like, to independent journalists, like, I read this to John Adirola to see if he knew what it meant. And John said maybe, like, if a guy like Edward Snowden came to me or came to the Young Turks, what would we do? Would we publish what he said? You know, I was a practicing journalist for a while.
Like, would you be Glenn Greenwald?
Would I what?
Like, would you be Glenn Greenwald and do what he did?
Yeah, Glenn Greenwald did what any professional journalist would do, and the ones who say that they wouldn't have done what he did, that's nuts, man. I mean, then you don't know what you're doing. I mean, that's a major source and a huge story. And that story is separate from whether you think Edward Snowden should get clemency or whether you think he should go to jail. I mean, I kind of don't think he should get complete clemency. I think maybe we should work out some deal where we go a little easy on him, where he doesn't have to face the rest of his life in prison. But I don't think you can have people, I'm conflicted by it. But that said, of course what he said needed to be published, no question. And the American people had a right to know, and he had a duty to publish. Of course Glenn Greenwald did the right thing. To suggest otherwise seems to not understand the core of journalism. And I hope that's a vague answer to that question. Is that the last one, or we got another one?
You have 2 more. Do you want them?
Sure, go ahead.
Sure.
I'll go quick.
Casey J. Marlowe asks, do you miss former co-host Jill Pike? And do you feel that the third way is pushing the Dems to the right?
Yes and yes. I definitely miss Jill. I love Jill, and it was fun working with Jill. And I was sorry when Jill left, and it was fun from the moment that Jill got here. And Cenk and Jill would have some great fights, wouldn't they, Jesus? That was great. I was usually not involved in those fights, but I miss her very much. She's very happy in Washington, D.C. And the third way has done terrible things in pushing the whole country to the right, although admittedly, I don't think it's their intent. But I sense from whenever I see their founder on television or read about him, that doesn't quite get the damage that they've done. So I imagine that it's unwittingly taken almost an entire progressive argument out. And the issue now is, do we do things from the center or the right? And so a compromise to that is pretty far to the right.
All right, last one, Ben. This comes from Eric Lorenzo, by the way. How does TCM view your more coarse, uncensored online presence on TYT, What the Flick, and etc.? Every
single time I curse on TYT, I think I shouldn't have done that. Every single time. But I think they know. They had this job when they hired me in 2003. I've been there 10 years. you know, I watch what I say sometimes, but there are already like 4 things in this show that I just did that I wish I hadn't done. I definitely wish I could take back the part about the fall of ancient Rome. That was probably a little too descriptive, but what are you going to do? Kim, thank you very much.